Welcome back to Good Morning Australia. May Gibbs' magical bush characters such as Snugglepot and Cuddlepie and Bib and Bub, part of the Australian parlance, they've captured the imagination of millions of Australians for decades. Well, biographer Maureen Walsh is an avid, if not obsessed fan of the Gumnut Babies and has spent about 11 years researching the storyteller's work and life. She's now come up with a 10-minute documentary titled An Interview with May Gibbs. Maureen joins us in the studio this morning. Maureen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You are obsessed with May Gibbs. Why?
I don't know. I think she spooked me when I came back from overseas about 1969, Gordon.
Life, and you've actually animated some of those characters.
In the 10-minute film, we've brought a gumnut to life. Not very much, but just that's what I could afford to. A climb over the gum leaf, a slide down and a bow. But bigger things might happen.
I'm about to say, mate, you may never know what can happen in the world. Tell us.
I'd been in Canada for a number of years, and back I came, back to the smell of the eucalyptus, not the eucalyptus, the eucalyptus. And May had just died that year, and I read about her death and felt very, very sad about it. And then some years later, I started to develop some stories on famous Australian women. And May kept bobbing her head up and stood out, yes.
Well, the book, the 2-volume set was a sellout. 50,000 copies were sold. I mean, here's just, and it is beautiful art. I think it's a uniquely Australian art too, isn't it?
Absolutely, and every line is May's. Really? Nobody else's work is in that.
And they're cute little fellas. I mean, they've been sitting in semi-obscurity, the little koalas and the gumnuts, but now's the time for it to come back to life, and you've actually animated some of those characters.
In the 10-minute film, we've brought a gumnut to life. Not very much, but just that's what I could afford to. A climb over the gum leaf, a slide down and a bow. But bigger things might happen.
I'm about to say, mate, you may never know what can happen in the world. Tell us about May Gibbs and how she started to produce uniquely Australian art like this.
May Gibbs came to Australia when she was about 4 and grew up in the Australian bush. Her father and mother were very good artists, so she was in that environment. Grew up on a little farmhouse and surrounded by the Australian bushland. Went up to Perth and became part of the artist colony up there, and developed, and particularly on a cartoonist line she developed. She had this wonderful sense of the ridiculous.
Just coming on the memorabilia, which I know you have a lot of, what is the most interesting piece that you think you found?
I think it's May Gibbs' self-portrait. There's a number of, the memorabilia, of course, there's all the little characters, and of course everybody loves the Banksia men. Of course some people are terrified of them, but nevertheless, even though they're terrified of them, they still love them. But her
self-portrait, why?
It says a lot. It says a lot about her at the time that she does the sort of self-portrait. There's a slight sadness in it. She was having her battles with publishers and with newspaper editors, the usual creative.
Now the film is available to people through videos?
On a video, and it's going out through mail order. Through mail order? Yes.
Well, you must tell people how to get it, because I know that a lot of people would love to add it to their collection of...
Well, I've got a small production company called Bustle Productions, and that's a Post Office Box 255, Coogee 2034.
Here's that portrait before we go on. Is that the one of which you speak?
That's right, yes. Very, very beautiful. It's a watercolour. And darling lady, she's haunting me. That's the truth. She's got so much to do.
Perhaps that's exactly where she came.
So much to do.
You think you're working for her, do you?
Absolutely.
You're standing on your left shoulder.
A very hard boss, I can tell you that. Very hard.
Okay. As you said, Bustle Productions, Post Office Box 255, Coogee, and it's a $30 video.
That's right.
To look at a little bit of life in the Australian bush. Maureen Walsh, thanks for joining us
Thank you very much, Gordon.
Snugglepots and Cuddlepies around the world, rejoice. Back with more after this.